Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Anis ZULAIKHA binti ISMAIL, matric number 2019270938X from group PHM 1113A1. Today, our group will be presenting about trishaw services in Penang. In 50s era, many trishaw that we can saw on Georgetown Road because trishaws being the main vehicle for transporting passengers on that time. It was also often used as a mobile stall by most hawkers in order to run small businesses, such as selling vegetables or items of daily life. But in the 20s era, the trishaw is now declining. This is because of the growing technology in the increasingly development society. For example, they use e-hailing vehicles such as Grab and so on. Trishaws are only considered as a vehicle that can be a tourist attraction as a tourist carriers of goods and services. So, conclusion that I get from the trishaw drivers' problem is they face the lack of income, no encouragement, declining visitors, and development of advanced vehicles.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is IZZATI binti YUSOF. My ID is 2019202844. I'm going to present on the topic why the trishaw services is still needed for tourism in Penang. First and foremost, it is because trishaw is part of our history and our heritage. Because of that, we should treasure it. In previous years, trishaw is a popular and an important transportation as it used to ferry children from and to schools, sending the women to the wet market and sending men to their workplace. And people in those days also used trishaw to go to the kopitiam. It is not just the remembrance of old belongings, but it is much more. Everything that passes down to our current generation is like traditions, architecture, culture, and the most important thing is the memories that we all have in those years we experience on using the trishaw as main transportation. It also allows tourists the opportunity to visit the sites at a more unhurried pace and enables them to stop at any places for them to take photography and buy some souvenirs. Trishaw riders are always well equipped with information about the routes they have passed through and are capable of telling the stories of the past to the passenger in every attraction within the heritage area. Trishaw drivers also would explain things to them like what kind of local food and what they should try to eat at that places. In tourism, trishaw is the best choice for tourists to know more about the state and the surroundings. All generation has brought joy for most people who need a ride with interesting information and some experience. Furthermore, trishaw services are still needed to bring in tourism revenue. Trishaw transportation or services need to be rebranded with new and modern branding, but still retains those classic features to make it look unique and attracts the attention of local people and also the foreigner. After that, it should be promoted through online websites, social media, or any article and newspaper to make people notice on the rebranded trishaws. By doing this, it will increase tourism revenue. At the same time, it will advancing tourism in the state of Penang. Moreover, trishaw is a tourism icon and it is worth promoting. An icon in the tourism context is an attraction or feature that is world famous. Trishaw is one of the features that is unique and usually can be found only in 2 states in Malaysia, such as the example is Malacca and Penang. That's the reason why trishaw services are still needed to promote domestic tourism. At the same time, it is an example of the tourism icon. For example, Penang has many interesting and historical places that are also closely related to trishaw, which is also a historic vehicle. Lastly, increased use of trishaw compared to other vehicles can reduce the pollution due to smoke or noise. A busy city has many vehicles that produce loud noise. Thus, riding a trishaw can reduce the noise pollution due to the lack of use of vehicles that emit noise. Besides, transportation nowadays, such as cars, vans, lorries, motorcycles, and buses, produce exhaust fumes that contain chemicals that will cause air pollution as well as affect human health.
Assalamualaikum. My name is NATASHA ELINA BINTI OTHMAN from PHM 1113A1, with my matric number being 2019262422. And for this session, I will be talking about the suggestions to municipal authority, tourism organizations, and trishaw owners to avoid the trishaw services from becoming obsolete. So my suggestion on this topic is to make tourism companies offer trishaw services in their packages. Offering trishaw services towards travel agencies or tour operating companies as a way to promote trishaw services is a really good technique, as tourists, foreigners, and locals alike can experience the trishaw services in Penang, which can also be a way where they can experience the history of Penang. So my next point is for them to provide discounts to tourists or locals who take packages with their trishaw services. Usually, providing discounts will always bring someone in, and with this strategy, the trishaw services will continue to commence. So my next suggestion would be to include a trishaw Penang tour in the packages. Tourists would find the idea exciting, as the uniqueness of the trishaw vehicle would draw tourists to the eye-catching vehicle, and thus the trishaw services will continue operating with this method. Next is to thoroughly promote the trishaw vehicle among locals and tourists alike. So this can be done by offering rides to locals or tourists as a way for them to enjoy and have a feel of the rides provided in Penang. By doing this, it can encourage tourists to take packages with the trishaw services for them able to learn more about Penang. Furthermore, make hotels promote trishaw services towards their guests or tourists. Allow hotels like Hard Rock Hotel Penang to promote to their guests, which would in the end make guests curious about the said vehicle. And lastly is to encourage the trishaw drivers to learn more languages to be able to converse freely with tourists. This allows the communication flow among both parties to be more smooth, and the tourists will be able to feel more relaxed when the trishaw driver speaks in their mother tongue.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NAJWA binti JAMARUDIN, and I am from PHM 1113A1. So today I will explain the way to revive the trishaw service so that it will not completely obsolete in year to come. Firstly, making trishaw as Firstly, making trishaw as the main transportation in the tourist destination. This will cause people to get more know the trishaw better and therefore will not forgotten just like that. However, we could provide service trishaw transport in large scale to remain popular and use the trishaw as the only means of transportation in area known as tourist destinations. Next, we could make some improvement to trishaw transportation. As we know, trishaw already indeed beautifully decorated and equipped with loudspeaker playing popular Hindi and dangdut tune. So, as the improvement, we could provide sound request service so that tourists will not feel boring and will also enjoy the song. Furthermore, we could replace the old trishaw by modern mechanical model such as use electric or battery powered trishaw. As we know, trishaw drivers are mostly old people, so it is to ease the burden of rider. In addition, providing many fans in the way to make the tourists feel comfortable and not heat. This can improve the quality of trishaw transport and be able to use trishaw on long journey. Next, updated and curated tours. We could introduce our own tour featuring newly installed GPS guide, location triggered commentary, and more. Lastly, making trishaw as the free transport to tourists into a package or to facilitate the travel of tourists to go to restaurants or back to the hotel.
In conclusion, although the trishaw vehicles is started to slowly fade away in the existence, it still proved to be an important part of the society in Penang, Malaysia. Therefore, we must thoroughly promote the trishaw vehicle to avoid it from being removed in the society. That's all from us. Thank you.